The meeting where no one respected Earth, the Galactic Council Hall, was large, shining with lights from dozens of alien worlds. It floated in deep space, built inside a giant golden ring. Every major empire in the galaxy had a seat here. And today, Earth had won too. Ambassador Wren from Earth sat quietly in his chair. He wore a plain black suit, no medals, no flags. He watched the room with calm eyes as alien voices filled the air. "Earth is not ready," said High Speaker Dren of the Voltic Dominion, his voice sharp. "They're emotional, primitive, still fighting each other on their own planet. They only joined the council to beg for protection," laughed an Arkanth general. "Let them clean our ships, maybe," a few aliens chuckled. Some whispered, behind glowing screens. Some didn't even look at Wren. They spoke about him, not to him. Still, Ambassador Wren said nothing. The council leader, a tall creature of blue crystal, looked at Earth's seat. "Ambassador Wren, do you wish to respond?" Wren stood up slowly. His face showed no anger, no fear, just focus. He looked around the room. The air grew still. Even the whispers stopped. Then he spoke. "Earth listens. Earth understands. And Earth remembers." He nodded once and walked out of the room. A quiet gasp passed through the council chamber. "That's it?" one alien asked. "He's bluffing," said another. But deep in space, far from the council, something had already begun. On Earth, far away from the council, inside a black mountain in northern Canada, a hidden control room lit up with red lights. Operators stood and looked at each other. The code had arrived. Protocol V, a quiet voice, spoke over the room speakers. It was cold, mechanical, human. "All ambassadors have left their posts. Begin movement of silent fleets. Activate classified systems." Thousands of hidden satellites began to change position. Old warships long thought destroyed powered on in dead space. Earth was not bluffing. Back at the council, the council chamber remained in shock. Why did he leave? One member asked. "He didn't even argue," said another. An old Yari historian raised a thin hand. "Do you all remember Earth's first contact?" Murmurs filled the room. "They came in peace," the Atari said, "and we welcomed them with traps, tests, and trickery. But they stayed peaceful." "Maybe because they were weak," someone muttered. "Or maybe," the Atari whispered, "they were watching." A cold chill spread across the room. Elsewhere, in the Galaxy A cargo ship near the Terran border, went dark. No message. No signal. Then a message arrived at the Council's emergency network. No sound. Just text. Peace was offered. You laughed. Earth will now prepare. Panic began to ripple through systems close to human space. Fleets were put on alert. Spies were sent. But Earth had gone silent. All embassies closed. All ships vanished from council ports. All humans were gone. The first sign of Earth's power in. The shadows of Saturn's rings. A ship the size of a moon began to rise. It hadn't moved in 70 years. It was called EDS Nemesis, the last of Earth's deep space dreadnoughts. Built not for war, but for the end of war. It had been hidden, deactivated, its weapons sealed behind 10 codes. Now all 10 codes had been entered. Its AI came online. Its eyes glowed red. Orders confirmed. Galactic silence protocol engaged. The ship pointed its nose toward deep space and vanished. Final scene of Part 1. The Empire begins to notice in the Galactic Council. Messages began pouring in. Human colonies gone dark. Earth's moon covered by shield grids. No human on any channel. They're retreating? Someone asked. No, the Atari said, now trembling. They are repositioning. The council leader finally stood. Send. A message to Earth. Call them back. A message was sent. There was no reply. Only silence. And from Earth space, ships began to vanish from sensors. The galaxy didn't know it yet, but an emerging empire had just stepped back from the table, and it wasn't coming back empty-handed. Asterisk. A silence that echoed across systems. The Galactic Council tried to act normal. Meetings continued. Trade deals were signed. Speeches were made. But something was different. Now. Earth was silent. And the silence felt dangerous. No humans showed up in the following meetings. Their seats stayed empty. Their ambassadors had all vanished. Their space stations no longer responded to council scans. Some thought Earth was afraid. Others believed it was a trick. A few said Earth was leaving the galaxy altogether. But deep down, everyone felt it. Earth was not running away. Earth was watching. And waiting. In a small mining system, Council Territory A, cargo vessel from the Dronari Empire traveled through Sector 19, near the edge of old human trade space. The crew laughed at the human situation. They thought it was a joke. Maybe they're sulking like children. One pilot joked. Suddenly, the lights flickered. The radar blinked. And then nothing. Everything outside the ship went black. "Shields up!" the captain shouted. "Is it pirates?" But there were no pirates. Only one shadow passed across their window. A massive, dark ship with no lights and no eye. It didn't fire. It didn't speak. It didn't speak. It just hovered. Then it vanished. The cargo ship's systems came back online. 5 minutes later, one message was burned into their internal screen. "We are awake." Council and chaos reports like that began pouring in. A patrol ship in Zone Delta? Gone for 40 seconds, came back with a human voice warning recorded on loop. A station near the edge of Council space? Its star map updated, showing hidden human fleets in places no one knew existed. A border tower? Found with its guards asleep, and the words, "Protocol V observed," carved on its main console. No deaths, no battles. Just messages. Just silence and warning. Inside, a council war. Room generals and scientists argued loudly. "They're trying to scare us. This must be a psychological game. They don't have that kind of power, do they?" Then someone showed the latest intelligence. It was an image. A planet, long thought uninhabited, rocky, empty, but the satellite scan showed something strange now. A giant structure. It wasn't alien. It was human. A huge cannon aimed directly into Council space. And written on the side of the weapon, visible even from orbit, "You laughed first. We'll fire last." Silence fell across the room. Meanwhile, on Earth, a new order begins. Beneath the surface of Antarctica, deep in the ice, thousands of engineers worked in silence. Old Earth technology, once banned by peace. Treaties was being rebuilt. Supercarriers. Drones with quantum cloaks. Ships designed to bend light and warp space. These weapons were not made to fight. They were made to end fighting. And at the center of it all, Earth's central AI, Athena, watched every system. Her voice echoed through the base. "The galaxy thinks silence is weakness. Let them learn what silence truly means." A captain's discovery, Captain Valar, an old war hero from the Telnari Republic, decided to investigate the rumors himself. He took a small scout ship toward an old human relay station in the Dark Zone. Station was supposed to be offline. WASN single quotes T. It powered on the moment he got close. A blue light scanned his ship. Then a voice spoke in his language. "You are not enemy. You are not trusted. Leave this space." Then a list of hundreds of unknown human ship names appeared on his screen. He checked the names against the Council database. None of them existed. They were ghost fleets, cloaked, hidden, long thought to be myths. Captain Veller returned, pale and shaking. They're not preparing for war, he told the council. They've already prepared. Ending scene. A warning echoes in the capital system of the Galactic Council. A strange thing happened. All screens in every system blinked for 5 seconds. The council's firewalls were the strongest in the galaxy, but that didn't matter. 5 seconds. Every screen showed one image. A human fleet moving silently behind the stars. No sound, no explosions, no speeches. Then the message faded in. This time we won't ask. And the silence returned. But now, the silence was louder than any threat the galaxy had ever heard. Asterisk. The first starbase that went dark, Starbase Veltrax 4, was one of the oldest council outposts near human space. It wasn't built for war-only trade. Merchants came and went. Refugees rested there. It was a safe place. Until one quiet night. Everything changed. At 03:00 hours. All comms went dead. No one inside the station answered. No one outside could see inside. And no one knew what had happened. A simple routine. Then Silence. Commander Yursa of the Trovok Alliance had just started her shift. She drank her hot root tea and reviewed cargo reports. Everything was normal. Then the station lights flickered. Once, twice, and then total black. The emergency power kicked in, but only for 5 seconds. She reached for her comms. Control, this is Yursa. Report power failure. No answer. She opened the blast door to the main corridor. The hallway was empty. No footsteps. No voices. Just fog. Cold, silent fog. The last security feed the council received one last video. Feed before the station went offline. It showed the docking bay. A single figure stood in the middle of it. Human. Alone. Wearing black armor with no symbols. He said nothing. He walked forward. And then the cameras died. The file was corrupted. But one frame remained, his hand, touching the wall and leaving behind a glowing message in Terran script. We offered peace. You offered pride. Now you'll learn silence. The search mission arrives 3 days later. A search vessel from the Council Defense Fleet arrived at VEL Trax-4. They expected to find bodies. Instead, they found nothing. No people. No damage. No signs of struggle. Everything was left behind. Meals still warm on tables. Personal belongings untouched. It was like the people had vanished. In one instant, only one thing was different. The entire station had been rewritten in human language, signs, consoles, instructions. Everything was now in Terran Standard. The message left behind, inside the command center, a message played automatically. As the team arrived, it was Ambassador Wren's voice. This is not an attack. This is a reminder. We asked for peace. You answered with laughter. Now we will speak in silence. The search team quickly retreated. They didn't even wait for backup. The mission report said only 3 words. They've taken Veltrax. Shockwaves in the council news hit the council like lightning. An entire starbase gone? Shouted the Krollan minister. No deaths? That's impossible, argued another. They're showing control, whispered the YTARI historian. This is not rage. This is design. Panic spread. The council called an emergency vote to increase patrols around human borders. But before the vote could begin, every screen in the chamber went dark. A soft tone played. Then a voice. Athena. Earth's war AI. Your vote is not required. Your fear has already cast it. Earth will now restore balance. And then silence returned. Back on Earth, preparing for more, in an underground city beneath the Himalayas, Earth's leaders watched the council's reaction. They did not cheer. They did not smile. They simply nodded. General Ilara spoke calmly. The message is sent. Now we wait for the real response. Beside her stood a teenage girl in a gray jacket. Her name was Kara, one of the first Earth-born children to ever live off -world. She whispered, "Will they listen now?" General Ilara placed a hand on her shoulder. "They'll have to, or they'll vanish like the rest." Final scene. A strange transmission. Just before the day ended, a rogue signal was detected in Council space. It repeated only once. A simple voice. Unknown origin. Not human, but altered to sound like one. Earth has ghosts in every shadow. And we do not knock twice. At the same moment, 17 small communication outposts across 5 empires went dark for 13 minutes. When they came back online, all screens showed the same words. Earth remembers. And the galaxy finally understood. Veltrax 4 wasn't just a warning. It was a line. And humanity had just crossed it. Earth's old fleet awakens, far beyond the edge of Council charts. Hidden in the cold silence of deep space, Earth's graveyard of warships slept, dust-covered hulls. Ice clung to antennas. Engines sat cold like buried bones. These ships had not moved in 72 years. They were supposed to be. History-forgotten relics of Earth's darkest time. But history was waking up. Silent signal from the core at 2:14 Earth. Central Time, Athena, Earth's main war AI, sent out a single pulse. No words. No noise. Just a frequency known only to one group. Project GHOSTFIRE. Deep inside Saturn's shadow. A small black cube blinked green. Then hundreds more responded across asteroid belts. On moons, in abandoned colonies, the old fleet heard the call. In the ice fields of Neptune. The dreadnought, EDS Revenant, lay under 3 kilometers of ice. No crew. No power. No light. Until now. Suddenly, its systems lit up. One by one. Red eyes opened across its massive hull. Inside. Its eye woke up from deep freeze and spoke one word. Confirmed. The ship began rising, ice cracking around it. It wasn't alone. 6 more dreadnoughts followed. Together, they formed a wall of steel, invisible to the Council. Council detects movement, but not everything on the Council star map. A curious blip appeared on the outer edge of Sector X-22. Too small to be a fleet, too fast to be pirates. Analysts checked again, then again. The blip was gone. One senior strategist warned, if that was Earth's fleet, they've upgraded their cloaks. But most ignored it. Their old ships, leftovers, no match for our modern systems. They didn't know Earth never threw anything away. They only hid it better. Inside, Earth's command core deep under the Mojave Desert, Earth's hidden military command center came alive. Holograms lit the walls. Ship stats, coordinates, threat. Assessments. All fed directly to Athena. General Ilara stood beside. Ambassador Wren. Both looked at the growing map of Council territory. Ilara spoke first. Phase 1 complete. Veltrax was the signal. The fleet is the answer. Wren replied calmly. Then we give them a choice: fear our silence, or fear what comes after. ATHEN. A's voice filled the room. Fleet command transferred to Shadow Protocol. All vessels entering combat readiness. Waiting on human authorization to proceed. No one in the room smiled, because this wasn't a victory. This was the beginning. A recovered log from the past. Somewhere in the archives of the Kreshon Empire, a young analyst came across a damaged human file from 80 years ago. It was a classified Earth military document. Its heading read, Doomsday Contingency, if peace fails. The document described plans to store advanced weapons in forgotten zones. Ships that could move without light. Missiles that could bend. Gravity. He showed it to his superiors. They laughed. Old tech. Scare tactics. But when news of massive energy spikes near Earth's Oort cloud hit the news, they stopped laughing. The first glimpse of power at the edge of an unclaimed sector. A Council science probe picked up an image. A single ship, larger than any Council cruiser, painted matte black, moving without light. Its ID read, ED's Harbinger. File was marked, classified by Earth 60 years ago. The probe tried to scan it. The ship fired a light pulse, not a weapon, but a warning. The probe systems melted instantly. The message came 5 seconds later. You found one. There are hundreds more. A child watches the sky in a quiet Earth village. A boy looked up at the stars. His grandmother had told him stories about the Council, how they laughed at Earth. How they mocked humans. Now the boy saw something unusual. A shape moved across the stars, long, black, and silent. It didn't shine. It blocked the light. He pointed and whispered, "Is that one of ours?" His grandmother smiled sadly. "No, child. That one is all of ours now." Final scene. The Council reacts too late. The Galactic Council finally held an emergency meeting. Alien leaders shouted over one another. They're activating everything. Why now? We didn't attack them. They were listening. The Tari historian whispered. They waited. Now they're done waiting. The Council ordered ships to patrol old human routes. They sent fleets to Earth's border. They prepared. Their weapons. But it didn't matter. Because Earth wasn't coming to them. Earth was already everywhere. And Earth had already decided. The next time they spoke, it wouldn't be in words. Asterisk. The betrayal that broke the peace. The Galactic Council had one last chance. After weeks of silence, Earth finally replied, not with war, not with threats, but with a message. We will speak one final time. Choose your words carefully. A peace. Summit was set neutral ground, far from Council space, far from Earth. Everyone hoped the nightmare would end, but not everyone came for peace. A secret plan behind the curtain. In a dark chamber beneath the Council Tower, 5 empires met in secret. Were the oldest powers in the galaxy rich, proud, ancient. They whispered quietly. Earth is growing too fast. They are not part of the original design. They must be broken before they become gods. The plan was simple. While Earth came to speak of peace, the Council would prepare to strike. They called it Project Glassful. Coordinated ambush of human systems using new pulse bombs, designed to erase entire planets. Fast, quiet, clean. Or so they thought. The summit begins on the neutral station of Orion's Rest. Human and Council leaders gathered. Ambassador Wren walked. In alone. No bodyguards, no weapons, no armor. He carried only a small device. The Council speaker, a tall being of silver light, stood to welcome him. Ambassador, we are glad you chose peace. Wren looked around the table. His voice was calm. I didn't choose peace. I came to test your truth. He placed the device on the table. It blinked once, and again. Then it projected something horrifying. The betrayal exposed. The room went silent as Wren's device played live footage from Council command centers. Hidden cameras, secret orders. Launch codes. Project Glassful in progress. Right. Now. Council fleets were moving toward human colonies. Pulse bombs were being armed. One phrase echoed through every recording. End Earth before it's too late. The Council chamber froze. Ambassadors stood in shock. Few shouted. Some tried to shut off the projection, but it was too late. Truth had arrived. And Earth had known all along. Human response was already set. Wren didn't wait for excuses. He looked each alien leader in the eye. Then he pressed a second button. Athena's voice filled the room. We allowed this summit for one reason, to confirm the depth of your betrayal. It is now confirmed. Phase Omega activated. A flash across the stars at that moment. Across 3 Council systems, skies turned red. Not from fire, but from light walls that appeared out of nowhere. Human stealth fleets revealed. Themselves dot from inside asteroid belts, dot from beneath planetary rings, from cloaked stations floating within. Council borders for decades. The trap had reversed. Earth was not being ambushed. Earth had set the trap, and the Council had walked right into it. Inside the Council chamber, panic unleashed. Some delegates screamed. Others tried to flee, but Ren raised one hand. "I don't want your surrender," he said. "I want your memory. You will remember what Earth offered, and what you tried to steal." Behind him, a human ship hovered outside the summit window. Massive, silent, painted with two simple words: "We remember." It didn't fire. It simply waited. The message was clear. "You drew the knife first. Now we hold the blade. A single ally speaks among the chaos." One alien stood slowly. Elder Yal of the Orients. He had always treated Earth with fairness, respect. He bowed his head. "We were not all part of the betrayal." Ren nodded. "We know. And because of you, the fire will be controlled." He handed Yal a silver cube. "Share this. It's the only key to stop what's coming." Yal looked confused. "What is it?" Ren answered without emotion. "A map of the planets we won't destroy." Final scene. A warning to the stars across the galaxy. Council command ships found themselves surrounded, not by weapons, but by records, hacked screens, playback of betrayal, visuals, showing each empire's hand in the plan to wipe Earth. Their own people saw it. Civil unrest began. Empires fell apart from the inside, and in every capital city, one final message was broadcast. From Earth, peace was our first language. You chose a different tongue. Now we speak it better than you ever could. Asterisk, the war Earth didn't start, but will finish. The galaxy was burning, but not with fire. It burned with shame. The betrayal of Earth was no longer a secret. From inner core worlds to the smallest mining colonies, the truth had spread. The Council lied. A planned, quiet genocide. And Earth had survived it. But Earth wasn't just surviving now. It was responding. No declaration. Just action. There was no war announcement from Earth. No angry broadcasts. No speeches. Instead, fleets moved like whispers through the stars. Human. Stealth cruisers appeared in orbit, left warnings, and vanished. Orbital defense systems across Council space failed in silence. Storage depots emptied overnight. Missile arrays melted from the inside. Spy satellites were erased from existence. Athena had entered full war mode. Her message was short. No screams, no fire, just memory. The first strike that wasn't a strike in the wealthy heart of the Talvaran Empire. Military generals met to prepare for Earth's attack. They waited in bunkers. Shields up. Cannons ready. But nothing came. Instead, at exactly 0 o'clock, every screen in their capital turned on. A voice spoke. "Ambassador Ren, we won't destroy your cities. We'll erase your control. One command at a time." Across the Empire, every military database was wiped clean. Every fuel tank emptied. Every warship shut down. No death. No blood. Just silence. And powerlessness. Council empires collapse without a shot. The Daleks' dominion tried to strike back, firing a fleet of 3,000 ships toward the Sol system. Only 12 ships made it past Neptune. None made it past Mars. They were never fired upon. Instead, human ships surrounded them, powered EMP fields, and dismantled them in space. The Daleks' commander wept as his ship powered down mid-flight. "I thought they were weak," he whispered. "They were just quiet." Inside Earth's command room. The final phase begins in the underground command room. General Ilara stared at the holographic display. It showed every council system. Green meant silence. Yellow meant resistance. Red meant active betrayal. Only 7 systems remained red. She turned to Athena. Show me their communications. Athena responded in her cold, smooth voice. They are asking each other who Earth will strike next. They do not realize. We've already struck. Ilara nodded. Begin phase 0. Let them feel the cost of memory. The uprising within while. Earth ships moved like shadows outside. Inside many council worlds, the people themselves began to rise. Why? Because Earth had sent more than warnings. They had sent truth uncensored history, recordings of council corruption, footage of peace ignored. People revolted. Soldiers refused orders. Entire colonies declared neutrality and raised Earth's banner not as a conquest, but as a shield. They weren't surrendering to Earth. They were joining it. The war was never about death. In a final emergency council transmission, the Krolan admiral shouted, "Why aren't they wiping us out? They have the power." And the Yetari historian, still calm, finally answered, "Because Earth is teaching us something." Everyone turned. They could have turned us to ash, but instead, they're making us live with what we did. This is not war. This is punishment. And punishment had a longer memory than war ever could. The speech, the galaxy, never forgot. Then came the final message, broadcast across every channel, across every empire. Every screen lit up holographic, analog, or neural. Ambassador Wren stood alone. No background, no flag, just him. His voice was calm. "We asked for peace. You mocked us. We gave you silence. You planned our extinction. We offered a summit. You set a trap. So we showed you something stronger than hate. We showed you discipline. This is not Earth's war, but we will end it because we remember who we are. And now, so will you." Final scene. A galaxy rewritten. 7 red systems fell into silence without a single ship fired. Council leaders stepped down. Human diplomats entered not as rulers, but as reminders. The galaxy had changed, not through invasion, not through destruction, but through something worse. Shame. And every planet now knew. Earth didn't win with war. Earth won by being better than the ones who betrayed them. Asterisk. A new council, a human chair. The war was over, but there were no parades. No victory marches, no fireworks. No planets conquered. Earth had ended the war without firing a single shot on a city. They had spoken in silence, in strategy, in cold brilliance. And now the galaxy sat in the shadow of Earth's memory. The empty seats of the old council, the great chamber of the Galactic Council, once loud with pride, was now quiet. Many chairs stood empty. Some had fled. Some had been removed by their own people. Some could no longer face the shame. The silver podium at the center, where laws were made, where worlds rose and fell, stood without a speaker, until the doors opened. And the footsteps echoed. Ambassador Wren returns. Wren entered the chamber with no guards, no armor, no flags, just a dark coat. He walked straight to the center podium. He looked at the empty chairs. Then the few who remained. They included the Yetari historian, Elder Yal of the Orions, and several younger leaders from rebelled colonies. No one said a word. Wren finally spoke. "We didn't come for this seat. We came for peace." He paused. "You chose pride, then betrayal, then silence. So we gave you all 3 back. And now, what's left is your choice. A vote that changed history." Chamber remained quiet for a long time. Then Elder Yal stood. "I vote for Earth to lead the new council." He said. "I second it," said the Atari. Then a third, a fourth, a fifth. And finally the chamber. AI spoke. By majority vote, Earth is chosen to hold the first chair of the new council. But Earth did not accept it easily. Wren raised his hand. "If Earth is to lead, we do so differently. No empire, no crown, only memory, only law, only fairness. He placed a single object on the table, a smooth black stone with a circle carved into it. This is Earth's seat. No gold, no throne, just weight, so you never forget what power feels like. When it's held, not used. Across the galaxy change begins new laws. Were passed. Weapons treaties were rewritten, with humans guiding every line. Colonies once forgotten by the Council were given full rights. Trade became open and fair. Borders became safer. But more than anything, the fear faded, because Earth had proved something the galaxy never understood before. Strength isn't in destruction. It's in knowing you can, and choosing not to. A young cadet learns the story years later. A young cadet on a training station far from Sol asked his teacher a question. Why does Earth lead us now? The old Orient tutor smiled. It's not because they were stronger, he said. It's because when the galaxy betrayed them, they didn't become like the galaxy. The legacy of silence at the edge of human space, one of the old dreadnoughts still floated quietly. EDS Revenant. It had never fired a shot during the war, but its engines remained active. Its AI, still. A wake dot waiting dot on the side of the ship, painted in permanent silver, were the final words Earth left for the galaxy. We asked for peace. We prepared for betrayal. We responded with memory. And now we lead, by remembering who we are. Final scene. The Council reborn Ambassador Wren, now old, sat silently at the edge of the chamber, watching new leaders speak. He no longer needed the center seat. Earth didn't need to speak now. It had already said everything. By surviving. By enduring. By refusing to become what tried to destroy it. And across every star, one message lived on, not in fear, but in respect. Never underestimate the quiet ones, especially when they're human.